Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to today's show. We have special guest, our host, Tavonna. We have a few guests here joining us today. And Jamie, Damon's here, Deborah, Sage. Everyone, if you want to take some time, introduce yourself, please.
Hey y'all, this is Tavonna. Thank y'all for joining us today. Took a couple weeks off. I'm here and we are looking forward to a really good show. Make sure you're staying engaged. Type your questions, comments in the chat, and make sure that you share this with all of your friends and enjoy the ride today.
Deborah, Damon, Sage, introduce yourselves.
Right, why we acting all scared up in here? It's Friday, y'all. What's up, family? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. I'm ready to just, dig in and get going. I don't know what y'all doing Friday afternoon, but whatever it is, let's get to it.
Hi, everyone. This is Deb. Love, peace, light. Have a great day. Enjoy the show. Let's get it popping.
Fellas.
What's up, y'all? It's Jamie, DJ Big Worm. First time on the podcast, so we're going to check it out and see what's what.
And Damon, our closer.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm actually just getting off the road, man. Took my baby back to her third year of school out down there in Beaufort and just landed back at home. So that's why I had kind of technical difficulties when I first came on. But excited for today's show.
Let's get it started. Tavonna, the floor is yours.
All right. So the topic that we were discussing a little earlier off the podcast that we said we were going to come in and chat about today was the quote unquote wifely and husbandly duties that people tend to do or not do while dating. And what you guys think about that. So I'm going to take the question that we had from earlier in the group chat and drop it into this chat so we can discuss it and see what you guys think. I want to make sure I have it edited so it's no like bad words or anything. Okay, there we go. So when dating, if a man should not be expected to provide, pay bills, buy things because he's not a husband, should a woman be expected to cook, clean, and have sex before she's a wife? So guys, what y'all think? We're gonna start with Jamie.
Well, when you talk about provider, I guess this differs from household to household because when you talk about the topic of paying bills, not every household is a husband pays all the bill type household. So, you got to muddy in the water when you get there. Also, the on the flip side, when you're talking about cooking, cleaning, sex, or whatever the case may be, who says those are, or who defines those as wifely duties? I guess you have to really, it's really going to depend on the individual from my perspective.
Absolutely. Damon, what you say?
Yeah, pretty much along the same lines what he said. I don't see where sex is is a duty by one or the other. But from my point of view, from my experience, I didn't plan on getting married again when I got divorced, right? When I met someone and we got along and to the point where, okay, this relationship could go somewhere, I did what I did. She did what she did. And we did together until we got married. It was never, never entered my mind. And for her to say the same, I don't think it ever entered her mind. To be totally honest, the reason I got married again was just because of legal things. The world and society is so set up. If you want to do things together, you almost have to be husband and wife for things to legally work, or they just put you through so much, So I ended up getting married because it was just too difficult to be together without the legal paperwork. So I say all that to say, no, I don't think you hold back anything when you get with someone. You do you and they do them. And if it works, then you continue to do it.
Well
I know
said.
Terry just came in. Koshon, do you want him to chime in or?
Yeah, I want to chime in. We're not gonna wait for Koshon to answer, but I
Okay.
want to chime in. Here we go. Tavonna.
Let's
Uh,
go.
yeah, let's go. You know, we kind of talked about this in the chat prior to. I think the guys kind of got a little, I don't know, they're a little off on, I think what you and I were talking about. We're not talking about established relationships or established marriages. We're talking about during the dating process. Now, as far as I'm aware of, when I'm dating a woman, I don't require her to come to my house and cook and clean my house. So because you're not cooking and cleaning in my house, but we're having sex, that does that equate to me paying your bills? That's what I'm wondering. I shouldn't have to pay your bills because we're talking, we're dating. If I'm going to pay your bills or if I'm going to help you with your bills, it's because that's what I want to do. All right. I'm not going to say that's going to be a consistent thing. On the flip side of it, like my son just went to college. I just took my son off to his first year of college. Now, if I'm dating someone, should I be required to pay her bills, knowing that my son is in college and he needs money from time to time? How does that equate? Like to me personally, I think a woman that is dating me, let's say me, a woman that is dating me. I'm sorry, you guys there? I had a
Yeah,
call
go
coming.
ahead.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, a woman that's dating me or a woman that's dating another man, he should not have to pay her bills just because they're dating. Like Tavonna said, this is a transactional period between a man and a woman or, whatever, a relationship. So if I if I buy the food and you cook the food, you're eating, I'm eating. You want to have sex, I want to have sex. But does that equate to me paying your bills? You want it just as much as I do. Why do I have to pay your bills for it? That's my opinion. So if somebody, Tavonna, can tell me what she thinks about that, then we can keep going.
All right. Let Koshon jump in first before we come back to the ladies. We're gonna let Koshon. Koshon,
Let's
you
go.
ready?
Let's go, Cole. Where you at?
He might have needed to step away for a second.
He might have stepped away for a second. We gonna have
All
All
right.
right,
Well,
well, Tavon, you
we'll
want to
go
take the
ahead.
lead first?
Yeah, I'll go.
go.
So, for me, like Terry said, I do believe in transactional analysis, right? And for me, everything is a transaction. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Everything is transactional with everybody in your life. There's some sort of give and take, which makes it and causes it to be transactional. Now, the original post that was made by Tank and
Right.
Terry
No,
was
no, no,
I,
no, no, no.
by
It was
Tank,
made by
sorry,
Tank. Go
by
ahead. Go
Tank
ahead. I
that Terry
disagree.
chimed in on and that made me comment was I know it was probably like more of a joke because it was a little meme or whatever, but basically it was saying like, hey fellas, since you're not a husband, don't pay her bills because you're not a husband. And it was kind of like a dig because it was pretty much saying the thing like the husbandly duties, wifely duties, right? So I think if you just stay on that surface of it, what that meme was saying to men was, hey fellas, if you ain't her husband, why you doing husband stuff? Which made perfect sense to me. I agree with it. But then when I said, so if he don't have to prove that he's a provider prior to marriage, why does she have to prove that she's a wife prior to marriage? And that's when Terry said, hold up, that's different. And my question was, how is it different? If nobody has to prove themselves prior in the dating process to be husbandly and wifely, how do you determine who you make your wife and your husband?
Right.
And that's all I would say. I felt like I wanted it to be clear that there should not be a double standard. If
Oh,
you're looking to me, if you're looking at what I do for you in the dating stage to determine whether or not I am wife material, I too should be able to look at you and say, okay, if you didn't do X, Y, and Z during the dating phase, then clearly you're not husband material.
you're right. You're right to a point. So let's back up a little second. All right. Now, when Tank made that post, what I originally said was, Tank, I never looked at it that way. So, but I kind of agree with him. So for every man that may be dating one woman, maybe two women, hell, maybe even three women. Let's say one man is dating three women. Now, if he's doing that for three women, how does that affect him and his livelihood and his lifestyle? Who's
Why is he dating three women at the same time?
He should be able to take care of his business or whatever he got going on.
okay? Well, let's just say it's not three women. Let's just say it's two. But how does that, I mean, other than, maybe sexually, maybe some different conversations, different attitude here, different attitude there. How does he actually benefit from that? For him paying her bills and paying her bills.
Well, technically, he's benefiting from both of them, from them doing exactly like cooking and cleaning and having sex. So that's really his problem. It's up to him to know and understand what he can, like, what his capacity is. And if he doesn't have the capacity to do that for two women, then you shouldn't be dating two women at the same
Two
time.
women. Okay, I can see that point. But here's another thing. Does a woman cooking and cleaning for me makes her wife material for me? Because I can actually do all that for myself. Does that
Right. So
does
that's the
that make
question.
me have does that make me have to pay her bills because we're sleeping together? Who's the
Well, I
prize? Is
think
she the
it's
prize
the
or is the man the prize?
well, everybody should be the prize, right? And this is what I'm saying.
Right. Right.
This is about the transactionalness of it, right? Because at the
Okay.
end of the day, who is better than who? I am not the prize but simply because I'm the woman. You're not the prize simply because you are the man. We are the prize to each other. So if I am giving you X, Y, and Z, then you need to give me X, Y, and Z. And whatever those X, Y, and Z's are. If the X, Y, and Z for me is pay my bills and the X, Y, and Z for you is cooking and cleaning and sex, then we both win and I don't see what the problem is. So I think this is where we have to figure, each relationship has to figure out what it, like you said, like I think Jamie said, what it looks like in each individual thing,
Right.
because that transactional analysis is going to happen and you can't make it one-sided. It's going to have to go both
Okay.
ways. So if you want XYZ from me and you are making that mandatory that you need and want this from me, then now you have to flip and say, okay, well, what do you need? And I got to get what I need too.
Okay.
And if
And
it's this mortgage payment for some, you know,
I
then
Nah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
hey,
ahead. Go ahead. So,
all right, Jamie, what's up?
so,
So
so
I guess it just all boils down to one thing, and that's clear communication.
right,
Put it all on the table up front.
right.
Always. Always.
So, yeah, we don't want to kill it with that. We want to keep the conversation going though. So here's my thing. I forgot where I was going at real quick. Oh man,
Come on with it. Come on
I,
with
I
it.
I lost my train of thought. My fault. Oh man. If
Well, get that train back on the
if
track.
I
Let's
so
go.
if I'm paying if we're dating and I'm paying your bills, what are you doing? We're dating. We're not even in the house together. We're just dating. And I'm paying your bills. What are you doing? I'm waiting for somebody to answer the question
There's
or
a whole lot.
hypothetically
I
answer the
mean,
question.
I'm there's a whole lot that I'm doing, and it depends
We're,
on, again,
we're
it depends on
dating.
the person.
Yeah, but we're
Yeah,
dating. We're not talking about you cooking and cleaning for me. We're dating. I'm paying your bills. What are you doing?
all of my bills.
I don't know. We hypothetically speaking.
I'm asking, are you paying all of my bills?
Okay. Let's say I'm paying all of your bills.
Yes, a question.
Huh?
He said
I
yes,
didn't.
he's paying all of your bills, sissy. Yes.
So I'm
Okay,
paying.
so
So
you're helping me like, and I don't know why you're paying all of my bills. Also, that's a little odd, but I don't know why. I've had my own space, and I had it probably before you came along. But okay, whatever. So if you're doing that for me, then I'm helping out. I'm helping out in your life as well. For me, I'm probably helping you pay some things as well. Supporting you in a way that's comparable to the way that you're supporting me. I also think too, I would like to say at this moment that I think that like almost with this conversation, we're terribly diminishing people and the value that we really hold in each other's lives. That's kind of like a surface thing. Like, okay, I pay a bill for you, or I do this for you. What are you, gonna do for me, in exchange? But like, I really want to know, like, how are you gonna support me, in life? How are you gonna support me emotionally? How are you gonna support me and the people that I support in life? All of those types of things. So, and it matters how I show up for you in those ways. Do I encourage you? Do I help build you up? Do I help you look at different ways, to capitalize in life, to make money, to elevate, to grow spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever that looks like. Yeah, I just don't diminish people to like paying bills. And I have way more to offer you than fucking sex. Sometimes I may not even want to have sex with your ass, but I still want to love
Hey,
you.
watch the language. Watch the language.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I was sorry on the roll.
yeah, she
Forgive my
was on the
language.
road. She was on the road.
Okay. Yeah, so, so my apologies. I won't make that mistake again. And so, I mean, yeah. So I feel like if I'm dating you and we're at that point, then I probably love you, or love things about you. And then when I love you, this is not transactional at all. I'm not going home at the end of the night and checking off the list and writing down a percentage of how we showed up for each other on that day. I'm just doing what I feel like I want to do for you. Hopefully you're doing the same.
Right, right, and that's right there is my point. Like you just said, that's something that you want to do for your significant other or whoever you're in a relationship with, and that would be my point for the men. If you're dating a woman, that should be something you should want to do. All right, just because she says, "Oh, I need you to pay my bills," because you're trying to get in the panties, man. We as men got to do better than that. All right. Cause they're diminishing you as a man.
And y'all care about that? Y'all care about that diminishment?
No, no, no. I mean, cause most men don't mind. They don't mind paying for a little bit of sex, whether they go out there and they actually pay for it or they see a nice woman that they don't mind paying for it. And most of the time, some of them to say, "Oh yeah, I'll just go ahead and help pay your bills or help you pay your bills or whatever the case might be." Hell, that's probably what they want anyway, and they get that, and then they're ready to be out.
Right. So dropping a couple dollars on the light bill don't mean much.
A couple dollars. Hey, dropping
I
a
mean,
couple dollars on a light bill, like you said, doesn't mean much. But when he's paying your light bill, if he's paying your car note, if he's paying your rent, or if he's doing things in excess, could be a problem. It could be a problem for him. I don't know. We don't know every man's situation, but I'm just saying it could present a problem for him. Now, some women, they'll take, and the only thing they're putting out is some sex. So now that process actually may take a man down a notch financially if he's not, you know, being careful of what he's doing. He could do it in excess because, he figured that's the easiest way to go. If I throw a little bit of money over here, I can just go over there and do what I want to do. But, again, I guess on the flip side, you got to figure out how does that man treat you as well. If he treating you like you a gold digger, all you want is this money, then, a woman would probably want to step away from that as well.
I want to take a minute for a second. Let me welcome some people who just joined. Hook, hey, how you doing? Welcome. I watched this show. Some of your show the other night was super dope as always. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yolanda, thank you for coming in. Trellis, thank you for coming in. So for those that are just coming in, if you scroll back up, we have put the topic in the chat. And we're just discussing in this dating phase, what is deemed, I guess, kind of necessary in trying to determine whether someone is husbandly or wifely based upon what they do. I mean, we just want to continue to make sure that you guys are engaging in the chat and making sure our panel, make sure you guys are muted when you're not talking so we don't get any feedback. And it says, Trellis said in the chat, food and F is all some men want from a woman as far as tangibles. Intangibles, respect and appreciation, anything else is specific to the individual man. And Sage agreed with Trellis. So guys, what do y'all think about that? Let's go back and start with Jamie.
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So what you asked again, Tavonna?
Trellis said, she said, food and F is all some men want from women as far as tangibles. Intangibles, respect and appreciation. Anything else is specific to the individual man. Do you guys agree, disagree? What do y'all think about what she said?
Well, I mean, like you said, that too is individualized. You know, I'm gonna go back to my resting point, and I'm gonna comment on something from earlier. Again, this is all rooted in communication. If you when you decide that you're gonna date someone, you know, you should be willing to open up clear communication lines to make it clear what your expectations are as you move forward in this relationship. As you begin to learn that other person, know what makes them tick. You got to know, in all things, you got to know your limitations. You got to know your capabilities. You got to know your limitations. You know what you can do and know what you can't do. So you stay away from those things. You know what I mean? So just like Dog was talking about earlier, when he said that if a dude starts paying bills and it starts to become a financial burden on him, then why you jumping out there like that? You playing big dog with some money you ain't got. You know what I mean? That's one part of it. But on the flip side of that is why did you even begin to stretch that money out there like that? You know, what made you say, oh, I'm gonna pay these bills? What was it indeed the sex that made you do that?
Cause she
Uh,
asked for it.
Right. Like, why would you set that tone if it's not something you can keep up?
right.
Okay, y'all, it looks like our fierce leader has unmuted himself. So Koshon, what are you hearing? What are you thinking?
I wanted to give everybody enough time to
We didn't talk. We've been waiting on you.
respond. So going back to the beginning. So when I was younger, I felt like there was no real difference in what I would do between a relationship and a marriage. But I think because I've been in long relationships, like years long. My son's mom, we did everything. We lived together, paid bills together. And the only difference was we were not legally married. But once I got married, I realized that if you're not married, you're single because, there's a difference between being married and being single. And as far as the level of commitment to the relationship, to the situation, I wouldn't necessarily say a difference in commitment to the person because that's a character trait. If you're a committed person, you're going to be a committed person. But as far as being committed to a relationship or marriage, it's like, we're making decisions together now versus, hey, I'm buying this or I'm paying for that. When you're married, everything affects both parties. When you make credit decisions, when you buy a car, you know what I'm saying? You have to discuss that with your spouse. In a lot of instances, you might discuss it with a boyfriend or girlfriend, but it's not like you're getting permission or taking what they say into consideration. Now, I heard a lot of women mention the sex thing, and personally, I don't view sex as a gift or a sacrifice to a man from a woman. Because in my opinion, sex is mutual. Sex is nothing like I'm giving you money for your bills. If we aren't living together, I'm giving you this money. I'm not benefiting from this in any way. If you're giving me sex, and then you're someone I want to have sex with, you're going to benefit from that sex. That's mutual. That's an exchange. You're not giving me something that you aren't enjoying as well. So I don't view sex as, oh, I'm giving you sex, I'm doing that, so yeah, you can pay my bills, because I mean that's just me. That's not happening. And especially we're grown and remaining PG, just being real, sex is unpredictable. I can't pay your bills, give you money, and this sex lasts 3 minutes and I'm out of a car dope. No, that's not happening. So yeah, that's just
I'm sorry, I had that here be holler.
yeah, that's just being real. I mean, these other dudes can act like they out here knocking down walls for hours and stuff like that. Just logically, the way I look at it. And as far as what Trellis said, when I was younger, that was the case. But honestly, and this is just me, and talking to guys, I realize that I'm different. That's Sex is literally the last thing on my mind right now when I think about just where I am in life and building relationships with people. So, I'm a father of four. I have a grandson, a career, a business, in school, doing research. I have so many things that I have commitments to, that sex is just not a priority right now. So, I agree with what she said about the intangibles. Yeah, the intangibles, respect and appreciation. And I want to say something that I just recently learned that I think means a lot to me is motivation and inspiration. Being with someone that is inspiring and someone that motivates me, I never realized how much that meant to me, but this ties in again. Someone asked, they like to get these refreshers. And one of the things we talked about on the different shows, Tavonna made a great point about revisiting our love languages, because I know that for me, it has changed. And since I lost my mom was murdered 3 years ago. Since I lost my mom, I started to appreciate different things. So right now, something like that means a lot. The respect, the appreciation, someone that can inspire me, that'll motivate me, those words of affirmation. And of course we have things that are specific to individual men. And I realize also that a lot of times love is anticipated and oftentimes reciprocated, but if the languages aren't the same, it can cause a lot of misunderstandings. For example, if, and we're hypothetically speaking, someone like Tavonna, she's a business owner. She doesn't like to waste time. She's a clear communicator, right? And I'm just using this as an example. I don't know this. We've never discussed these things. She makes her own money, right? So because she does, monetary gifts may not have the same value to her that it has to someone else. Because, okay, what is this? $100? You know, that's not the same as showing me that you made a commitment. You sacrificed time. You spent that with me. But for that person, they may be a low wage earner. So a monetary gift may have meant a lot to them because of the sacrifices they made in doing it. So again, like everyone said, it ties back to communication and some of these shirts. Jamie said you came and folded some of these shirts, you know, and what I want to do, I wonder if I can stand for a minute because Hook is trying to take a seat. Hook has some things he would like to say. So I'm going to see if I can stand, Hook, and let you, well, won't allow me to stand. I want you to be able to get in and share what you have to say. And Damon, I see your mic is on. Yolanda, Deborah, anyone has some follow up, please. The mic is yours.
Yes, I do. Hello, I'm Yolanda, new to the group. Love it already. So, just to give you some history and insight on me, I am a single woman, 40 years old, kid in college, and I have a 9-year-old. I have been with their father for 20 years, and 4 years ago we split. So, I have been single ever since. Not saying that I wasn't interested in anyone or haven't had sexual contact with anyone, but I consider myself a single woman. The issues that I guess is a rival now, like a 100% issue, and what I have been experiencing, dating is really hard right now. And the two main topics tonight is the man wants the woman for sex, the woman wants the man for money. Well, I feel like on either token, it's just an unfair game. So you get someone like me who wants to be married one day, would like to experience another relationship again. And because I was confused by marriage and a relationship, I never knew how to separate. Do you give an expiration date before a guy marry you, or what is it? Is it truly love? What is it? So again, at 40, I'm on a learning curve and it's really hard. Any advice?
Ladies?
Oh, let me go. Let me go. I get to hold. I can't stand you, girl. Okay. Hey, Yolanda.
Hi, girl.
Girl. Okay. Honey, you had some. I hate that I'm driving because I needed to be writing down, taking notes. Okay. So you said a lot in there that encompasses a lot of what we have talked about on this platform for a minute, right? So hold on for 1 second before I finish with Yolanda. Koshon, go ahead and get hooked in on number 7.
Okay.
Okay. So Yolanda made some really good points that tie into this subject and some of the other ones about being with someone in a long-term relationship, not knowing how to separate those things and putting expiration dates and all of these types of things that she talked about. And a lot of times what that comes back down to, and like she admitted that she's 40 and now on a learning curve. And that's the unfortunate part, is because many of us did not come from backgrounds where that learning curve was given to us in our teens.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
And so
Right.
this is what leads us to be in our 40s and the light bulb is just coming on about relationships because we weren't taught how to navigate them properly from the beginning. So my advice is to find your authentic self. You have to find your authentic self before you can do anything with anybody else. You have to figure out exactly what you want, exactly what you need, exactly what you like, exactly what you do not like, exactly what you can live with and what you cannot live without. And once you know you, dating will be very easy. I am 44 and it is extremely easy. You know why? Because I know exactly what I will deal with and won't deal with. And as soon as I see it, my cutoff game is strong.
Right.
You might not even last a week before it is cut, right?
Burn the whole building down.
You know it and will, right? Because I have gotten to that place, but it took time. And I'm still learning every day more and more about me. And you know what I'm saying? And those things can change over time. And the more you get into your authentic consciousness, you'll be able to do that and you will find yourself not wasting time. So I would say to Yolanda, start there.
I would say, Yolanda, give yourself grace and patience while you're going through this process because, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. You're going to kiss a frog or two and you're not going to, you know what I'm saying? It may not be your intention, but it's going to happen. Or 10, like, for me, I've never had like all these different dating scenarios. Like I didn't have that. I can't say that there's a relationship where I went 5 years and 6 years. Yeah, no, the longest one was about 2.5. And that was about the only real serious one that I had. So for me, I haven't really dated in the manner of like being with someone specific. I've actually spent maybe most of my years by myself, honestly, or being single. I won't just technically say by myself, but being single. So dating is a learning curve for me too, because
my main dating era was, being taught a lot of different things by my grandma and having those values when I date, and having that type of like foundation when I date. And that's not what's out here today. That's not really how it happens today. So I find myself lost at times trying to navigate dating. But give yourself grace and patience, because it is a learning process. And just like Tavonna said, you have to know who you are. You got to know what you're going to deal with. That's the main thing. Know what you're willing to deal with and know what you're not. And be willing, unapologetically, to burn that sugar honey iced tea to the ground if need be.
Thank you, Deborah.
No,
Sage, do you have any advice?
Okay, before the fellas jump on and get
yeah,
Yolanda some advice. Sage.
Sage not coming in.
Sage may have stepped away for a second as well.
Sage is here. Just refresh me.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I had a teenager.
so Yolanda was, saying how hard it was getting back in the dating game. So Yolanda, I don't know if you would like to just refresh her and then she can give you her insight.
I got something good for you, Yolanda. I promise.
Okay, so basically, as I was explaining to the ladies, I have two girls. I'm single. I've been single now for 4 years. I've been in a 20-year relationship, not married. I'm to my kid's father. We split. Ever since then, dating has been really hard for me because it's like, okay, the man wants, say, the woman wants money. So I fall into the line of when I deal with talking to somebody, they automatically like asking me even, I can go here too, I didn't hear this, but they automatically ask me, well, what's my career? What do I do for a living? Or how can I help them? And I'm thinking like, wow, we talking about this already? Like, can you just get to know me? You know what I'm saying? In my response to. So some of those things I experienced, and then some guys, they just straight up ask me for things, you know? So again, it's just hard. I'm dating, and again, no one has a relationship. Your relationship is supposed to be expired date or time for a man to marry. Like none of those things I really got to learn. I just kind of learn as I go. So now that I'm in this world, that being single is trying to give dating a serious thought. Sometimes I do get discouraged because it's hard. I feel like, hey, I don't even want to bother with it again. So, any advice?
Yes. Thank you so much, Yolanda, for bringing me back up to speed. I appreciate you, Queen. Absolutely. I myself, also was married for some years, 12 years. And
But
now
I
I'm not.
wasn't married
Huh?
to him. I was not married to him. I was just with him for 20 years.
So I
And
appreciate you for recapping, but let me you actually were married to him. I don't know what's like going on in the world. You was with that man for 20 years. Y'all had kids. Yes, no. Y'all lived together. Did y'all live together?
yes, ma'am.
Y'all received mail at the same house.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all share money.
Yes, we did.
Y'all share energy.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, great. Y'all obviously y'all did because y'all made whole lives out of that. So yeah, y'all were married, and that's the original marriage. Like all of this
Okay.
now, signing the paper and all of that shit, that's a thing too because we said it is. But originally, okay. But originally, it was a matter of what we said we were to each other and how we showed up for each other. So yes, you were married to that man for that long. And what I would say is like dating is very different. I also struggle in the dating world, meeting people, dealing with all different aspects of it, people wanting to talk about sex up front. And like you said, you don't even know me, but what I would say is like after spending that much time with a person, especially if you two were exclusive with each other, it takes a while to kind of get back to 100% of you after 20 years of sharing you with someone else. So I just know for me, one of the greatest things has been for me to really not be in a relationship and just kind of like date myself, and do things for myself that light me up, that make me feel alive. And every once in a while, maybe I can have companionship and share that with a person, but that person is really going to have to be a stellar individual because most of what's out here nowadays is like nickel. It's not like gold. It's like nickel. As far as dating go, like, like even with us having this conversation that we're having, like we're really talking about like, are you going to exchange sex for me paying your bills? Like, what about just getting to know me, like having a good time? What about just like, I don't know, going for a walk or going skating or something?
Real deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminder, Koshon will not pay money for sex. Let's get that straight. Not doing that.
Neither will I, Koshon. Just to be clear, I will never pay money for sex.
Okay. But we're on the
Well,
same
listen,
page.
Yeah, everybody done paid. So let's say Hook. We need to hear what Hook had to
And
say.
in that way, we probably have Tavonna, honestly.
Everybody has. I'm trying to tell you, I don't know why people be trying to wear that as a badge of honor, like they ain't never paid for it. You done paid for it. But anyway, Hook, like unmute, talk to us, and let us know what you have been thinking about, what you have been hearing before we let Koshan jump back in.
A couple things. First thing is I have never paid for sex, Tavonna. never,
Not
never.
directly, sir. Not
I, and
directly.
I don't, not indirectly either. So, but
Right, she
I
broke
get
it
where you,
down. If she
I get where you going. I get where you're going. You take people out, and it's
I know it's hard to
I,
swallow,
nah,
but it is what it is.
no,
So I know it sounds politically correct
yeah,
to be like I didn't do it,
right.
but you did. You know
Like,
what I mean? So it's okay.
as much as I don't want to understand what you're talking about, I totally understand why you said what you said.
Yes,
So
because
I get it.
everybody has. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Now one thing that you guys said earlier that I did want to touch on, like I think something about women treating sex as like it's some prize or like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's, and I agree with Coach Sean because I'm like, if, if we're engaging in the actual act, I mean, like both of us going to enjoy it. So it's not like, you enjoying it and I'm just here just doing my job. You know what I'm saying? So it's equal gratification. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look at, sex as being one way. Now, in terms of the topic at hand, if I'm reading this correctly, we're trying to differentiate between, I guess, when people are actually dating, like I guess, are we doing marriage things, but without the title? Is that pretty much what we're engaging in?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Now, who's the young lady that was dating somebody for 20 years?
That would be me, Yolanda.
Okay, yeah, like, and even as a man, I'm like, like, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take that, like, especially if you're doing like, if you're doing all the things that marriage entails, like Yolanda said, if you're sharing bills, sharing money, sharing a bedroom, you got mail coming to each other's house, and for all intents and purposes, you are married. Like, I don't like, and even for me, even as a man, like, I couldn't even do that. Like, I felt that, like, it took me 5 years to marry my wife, and I felt like I was on pins and needles, like I was on borrowed time. I'm like, man, I need to go ahead and get myself together because, you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't take that long for a man to know what that he's going to be
Well,
with a
you
woman.
know what? That's something that I recognize as getting older. Because you gotta remember, like I've been dating them since I was 17 years old. So I grew as a from the
Okay.
teen, a grown woman to, a mature woman. So however, I think what hit me one day was I was watching everybody getting married around me. I'm like, well, damn, what's going on with us? We ain't never gonna do that. But then it just came to a reality check that I feel honestly like I don't think I really, I don't think I really was the woman for him. Like as
Yeah.
I'm to myself now I'm thinking, I just feel like I just wasn't the woman for him. I felt like, because he was already in loyal with me, with the children and everything like that, it just made sense to stay. But I feel like when somebody really loves somebody, like adore them, and it's a mutual agreement between two people in love, I just feel like it's not about the sciences of a matter of rather not if this is the woman for me and this is the woman I want to stay the rest of my life with. I don't think a decision should be 20 years. Looking at
Nah,
me,
yeah.
how
Yeah,
deep
I agree with you because I have a cousin pretty much in the same situation. He married his fiance about 2 years ago and they have been dating since about 16, 17. He's almost 50 now. So, I mean, that's 20, almost 30 years that they, well, 30, really is that 30 years that they were dating before they got married. And I think it began to, I guess it put a lot of pressure on him because like, again, I got married and me and my wife were dating. I say only 5 years, but I mean, it was only 5 years compared to the 30 that he had been dating his fiance. So his younger brother got married before him. I got married. He got another cousin getting married around that same time. So I think he kind of felt the pressure. So he finally went on and did it. But the whole time, his fiance saw all of us getting married, and she's like, well, dang, like, like what's going on? And and they appear to be doing well now, but and maybe, well, obviously, like it's it's because I was older when I got married. You know what I mean? Like me and my wife had been married for about 3 years. I'm 48 now, so what, 45? Well, 44 when I got married, but essentially, like it took. Me and my wife met at the right time because when I was younger, I wouldn't think about any of that. Like I wouldn't think about marriage or settling down or anything of that sort. But as I started getting older, I started wanting more things. I wanted a companion. I wanted somebody, who I can have pillow talk with. I wanted somebody who was going to help me grow, cause honestly, before this relationship, I was really dating people and there was really no growth in me. Like they didn't, and it's not their job technically it's not their job, but it's even being with them. I wasn't learning anything from them. So I wanted somebody who I could learn from, who could show me ways that I could be better. And that's what really solidified it with me and my wife. But we talk about this all the time. And to some of your points, my wife said that before she met me, like dating was hard. She said people just weren't really approaching her like that. It's like she'd go out, well, she said the people that were approaching her had no business approaching her. But, it's just one of those things where I understand just how difficult dating can be. And it's not just for women, it's for men too. Cause I had a hard even keeping solid relationships with the people I was dating because it was, I don't know if social media ruined everybody. People had unrealistic expectations. They wanted to put the cart before the horse, wanted you to, basically flew them out and, and, these other things. So it's not just difficult for women; it's difficult for men too.
I want to chime in. So I wasn't 20 years. I was in a situation where, and when you mentioned that you started at a very young age, Yolanda, I think that plays a major role. I started dating my oldest son's mom when we were in high school. So of course marriage was not a thought. We dated through college. I graduated before her. I was a couple of years older. So I thought that, and now it's like we're 7 years in, but I'm thinking, okay, we have a child together. We're living together. We're doing everything together. And there was no like timeline, you know, I like it was understood that we will be married. We're going to get married. I told her that when we started dating, like, okay, you're someone that I can see myself being with. When we had our son, we talked about marriage. We never made it to that point. So I can see if I went 7 years, I can see how someone can go 10 years. And if you can go 10, I can understand 15 or even 20. But the question was asked by D is if they ever actually discussed marriage. And that's something that I wanted to ask. Yolanda messaged me. She had to get off the call, but I wanted to ask her if they actually discussed it. And I can understand in his case, if we're together, we've bought a house together, we have 3 kids together, we're doing all these things. The only thing that we're going to do now is spend money on the wedding. And I didn't want to get into specifics on, her personal business as to why the relationship finally ended after 20 years. But do we have timelines? I don't like timelines to say, okay, I have to be married by this time or this age or that date, because a lot of people that I know wanted to live by that timeline, those marriages didn't work because I don't think it was rooted in, well, I wouldn't say rooted in love, but it was like that person was there to check a box. They were there at the right time. And welcome. We have people here coming in from Kenya. Thank you. Please share. And we love to have you here. If you would like to give some feedback or chime in, please do so. Go ahead, Deborah. I saw your mic come on.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely understand how you can make it to 20 years and not be married. But my understanding of it just comes from the fact that marriage, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's nothing I have a aspiration to do. Like I don't see it as a goal to reach in my life in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Like, even though I took the plunge before, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, I can't say that I won't again in the future. It's not something that holds so much importance that it's like a deal breaker in any way for me. Like if we can be solid and rock together and build together and do what we do and let it last for years and years, like let's do that. And if that's what is like my truth is, then who's to question it?
Right.
And I agree. I agree with Deborah. And I wanted to answer Koshon's question about the timeline. I am a timeliner. I have timelines. And the reason that I have timelines is because I was at a point where I didn't have a timeline.
Mm.
And I felt like I wasted a decade with my first husband and two kids in and finally got married and then wasn't even married a year. Right. So what that taught me was I absolutely have to manage my time better. So when I met my second ex-husband, the timeline was put in place that you get a year of my time. I ain't telling you what you got to do. You ain't got to marry me. You ain't got to propose to me, but you're only getting a year of my time because like Hook said, it doesn't take that long to know whether or not this is what you want. And we actually ended up getting married on our 1 year anniversary and stayed married for 10 years. But now that I'm divorced, my timeline is even shorter now. And like I said, my cutoff game is strong. And I agree with what Deborah said. I actually had to unlearn the thought process that marriage was the end goal to relationships because that is what we are taught. This is what society tells us that this is the end goal. This is the end goal. And we make people feel bad about not having that end goal. Oh, you're not married. You go to the family reunion. Girl, when you get married, when you having some kids, because that is what the societal end goal has been pushed on us. That's the narrative that has been given. And so I am so grateful that I have unlearned that. And like Deborah said, I am absolutely okay with rocking with you. You can be my life partner. We can build, we can grow. Because honestly, people, Damon has said it earlier about the quote unquote legalistic parts of marriage. Yeah, there's a marriage license, but in terms of your beneficiaries, all of that kind of stuff, you can do all of that without a marriage license. So there are parts of it. Yeah, you're just not gonna get no tax breaks and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Because again, marriage was never intended for love. Marriage, as we know it today, was created out of economics. It was because they realized that it could make money and it absolutely does. So I think those time limits are important if you want to protect yourself, because if not, you will end up in this hope game and you look up and you blink and like what Yolanda was saying, you look up, it's 20 years.
And
Okay.
I definitely will say really quickly, like, in feeling like, marriage is not an aspiration, that, I'm glad that I never learned that behavior. The way, Tavonna, you say you had to unlearn it. I'm glad I never learned it because for me, it just allowed me to really know and understand a little bit better that, how to like release, like it was very easy. It's easy to let go of people who are not good for you when you know and understand, like, we're just here having an experience at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That experience can be with this person, it can be with that person, it can be with whoever you choose it to be with, but also knowing, like, when it's time to move on to the next experience. And sometimes when you legally bind yourself to someone, you know, you create so much more headache just to have an experience.
Absolutely. I wanted to touch on, we had a comment in the chat from DM. It says, if some men are comfortable having a conversation about sex on the first date, during the first conversation, women who want to be married should be comfortable having a conversation about their desire to be married and to only date men with the same end goal. We absolutely agree. We've talked about that so many times on this show about having those hard, tough conversations ASAP. Like, those are not conversations that should be 3 months into the conversation. I mean, into the quote unquote dating phase. Koshon, you have any?
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I apologize. This was brought to my attention at 14, unbelievably. One of my friends, I was talking to him about a girl, well, a few girls, and he asked me, why am I trying to talk to multiple girls, right? And I'm looking at him like he's crazy. And at 14, he said to me, he was like, which one would you marry? I'm like, man, we're in the ninth grade. Who's thinking about getting married? And he said to me, if you date someone that you cannot see yourself marrying, you're setting yourself up for a breakup. Like, you know that you're going to break up with this person. So why are you trying to date them or these people? And it dawned on me a few years later, and I thought about it, and I respect that. So I get what D is saying, and that it is important. If you cannot, unless you're just looking to have a good time, unless this is someone that you can see yourself marrying, I think that intentional dating would be a waste of time. And I respect women or a person in general that's willing to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I am. I'm at this age or at this place in my life. And Robin made a very good point. December 20s, you're definitely looking to have a good time. Robin made a good point about once when women reach a certain age, it's like, well, if I don't have children, I'm looking before like 35 and up because it becomes a high risk. So that's a factor to consider as well. But yeah, I
But these are
respect.
all things that because Sean, these are all those societal things, right? That we are taught are quote unquote not okay. You're not supposed to have a baby out of wedlock. You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. And again, some of that stuff is so stifling. And this is why some women who desperately want to be a mother, these things are stopping them from being a mother because they're afraid of how they're going to be looked upon. They're afraid that they haven't done it the quote unquote right way. And they are sacrificing that want, that need, or that desire to be a mother, all because it doesn't fit in this little box that they were taught. And so again, these are all things that sometimes we have to take a step back and say, what does it look like for my life? Right. And you have to be okay with it not looking like the pretty picture that somebody else painted for you.
That's our religious folks. That plays a major role too. Religion.
I'm not a
100%,
religious.
Tavonna. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not that because I've never been that. I got kicked out of Sunday school like as a little kid because I was that girl. So because I didn't know where the dinosaurs were in the Bible and they kicked me out of Sunday school. So I've just never been that girl. But I think that's so important. Getting to those points, and I think just the original topic that we were talking about is deeply rooted in those little boxes. It's deeply rooted in the societal norms and the traditions and the whatever. Because in 2024, even with all the social media and all the things it is almost still frowned upon and unheard of for a woman to walk up to a man and say, hey, you sexy, I think I want to smash. What? oh my God, like people will be clutching their pearls in 2024 because we are still so deeply rooted in these norms.
I don't see a
And I'm
problem.
approaching. I don't care. Clutch your pearls, cause I'm coming. You better clutch him tight, cause if you holding on to his arm, you might have to let it loose. Okay?
Yeah, that's what I expect at this age. No need to waste time, anybody's time, or play games. Like, if this is what you're looking for, say what you're looking for, and it all comes back to communication.
Right. Cause that's what I
And
can
I
give
think,
you.
I don't know if anybody saw Kurt Franklin's recent statement about, you know, marriage being weaponized. And I totally agree with everything
Oh
he
yeah, I
said.
heard that. I
But
heard
I
that.
think that a woman's sexuality has also been weaponized against her. We have been taught that it is a bad thing to have wants, needs, desires that remotely resemble those of
Oh
what
man,
is supposed to be a man, right? It is that it's been weaponized, and women have to learn how to take back that power in order to be able to say, no, this is what I want. And this is what I don't want.
And be able to stand firm with it. Like, and don't waver from what it is that you want for no crowd that doesn't agree. If they don't like it, it is what it is, regardless. Like you have to stand behind what it is that you say. Like I was adamant about, not wanting to get married or not caring about getting married as well as not wanting to have kids. But, I slipped up there, but I love my child, but had I not,
Every time you say
you
that, it
know,
sends me the slip up. It sends me every
right, because it was just a girl, it was a slip up for me. Because had I not slipped up, trust me, I wouldn't have any kids. I wouldn't like any because it was not something I desired to have. Did everybody always ask, when are you going to do this? Why you haven't done this? Yes, because I don't want to. And that was my answer. And that's just what it was. And that's all I could tell you. I'm not giving you an explanation. It's just not something I want to do. And I was okay
I
with
had
saying
an
that.
issue. It wasn't an issue, but I want to kind of get the guys' take on something real quick. So I had an issue the other day. It was an issue for me because I was just like, this dude. So I had posted something on Instagram. It was just a story, one of my stories. It was just a picture, like the things that say show yours or whatever. So it was a picture. And he commented on it and said, when can I take your beautiful self out? First of all, the wording of the sentence like made my stomach hurt. So I was like, hmm. So my response to him was that would be never. And he came back with, wow, what did I do to you? And I was like, that is the weirdest question. What makes you think that you did something to me because I don't want you?
Dang.
It's like
I mean,
it never even crossed his mind that I was going to say no. So
I would just say really quickly, right? Damn, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
men accepting rejection.
yeah, like what was that? Because I said
Bingo.
I said you didn't do
Bingo.
nothing. And so
I found it. I found my
that
train of thought.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I found my train of thought. I would have just let him know because first of all, the way that you said he worded that sentence, it just made me cringe when you said it. So what you did to me,
him. My
yeah,
response to him was, no, you didn't do anything. I was like, I'm just not, I said, you don't know me and I'm not interested in knowing you. And anybody who would have wanted to ask me out would know that that wasn't the way to do it. And so he just gave the thumbs up. But my question to the guys what is it about? Is there not a thought in your brain that a woman is going to say no? And when they do say no, why is that an issue?
I got a question.
Sure.
So when he asked you, can I take your beautiful self out? What exactly was your response, your reply?
That would be never.
That would be never. And
Hmm.
his response was, what did I do to you?
He said, wow, what did I do to you?
All right. So check this out. All right. So when he said, can I take your beautiful self out? It's corny. I think it's very corny, but I don't think it was it could have been him trying to jest, or you know what I'm saying. It can be any number of things. Don't get me wrong. I think it's really corny, but I don't think it was all that bad. Now, when
It was
if
all that bad for me.
now, if I had reached out to you and I said, "Hey, when can I take you out?" Or can I, however I phrased it, and you said that would be never, I just wouldn't respond. You know what I mean? It to me, it would be like, okay, you have a good day or something like that. Like, I'm not gonna
Right.
ask you, wow, like, what did I do to you? Because I'm not gonna take, like, no one likes to be rejected, but I don't take it personally. Like, everybody's not everybody's type. Like, I mean, do I think I'm an attractive guy? Absolutely. Do I think I'm everybody's cup of tea? No. Because everybody, for one, I'm only 5'10", so for some women, I might be too short. Some I
You
might be
too
too
short,
tall.
Hook. You too
Yeah,
short.
there you go. But I think what people got to realize, no matter how attractive you are, how attractive some people think you are, like, everybody's not going to go for you. You're not going to be everybody's type. Now, Tavonna, do I think that you saying that would be never, do I think that was kind of rude? Absolutely. I do think that came off as rude. And cause I've known you for a few years now. I've had doing my podcast. I don't see you as being a rude person. I think you're a nice person actually, but that
You went out. Go back. What did you say? You say after you had me
He
on your
wants you to
podcast.
repeat that mess.
Yeah.
I
What'd you
don't,
say?
I don't think that you're a rude person. I think you're a nice person, actually.
Oh, thank you.
one of 10,000.
Now that comment you made to Buddy though, that was kind of rude.
For me, it was rude of him to say to me, and okay, let me ask the better question then. Because do men look at certain women and say, yeah, I'm not even going to touch that? Or do y'all just have this inflated sense of self that you feel like you can just jump on any and everything? And I mean, do men like have this sense of that's out of my league kind of thing?
No, I don't. See, I don't think anyone's out of my league. Now, do I think everybody's gonna, give me a chance? Absolutely not. Like, no, I'm not intimidated by any woman by any stretch of the imagination. So, like, if I see somebody on social media that I want to, approach, or if I see somebody in public that I thought was attractive, I want to approach him, I may or may not approach him, but if I do, I'm not intimidated. So, and if they tell me no, I'm not going to curse you out. I'm not going to call you out of your name. I'm not going to be like, wow, why do you say X, Y, and Z? It could be any number of things. You could be having a bad day. I could have been the 15 dude that hollered at you and you could just be tired. So it's a lot of different things, but I think that Buddy might have been a little sensitive by just saying, wow. Now, I also think that you, Tavonna, your response could have been a little softer. You could have simply said no, thank you, or
Oh no, I'm not in my soft girl era. Sorry, I'm not there. No, I've been in my soft girl era for a long time, sparing people's feelings, and I'm not there no more. It is not there. It's not happening.
not Buddy ain't gonna holler at nobody ever again in life.
Oh well,
What's your
I hope
thought?
not ever. Hope he don't. Not with that line.
So for me, I have a percentage in my mind where I'm at least 10%, and 10% is good for me. Meaning, if I holler at 10 women and I get one, I did good. So I expect 9 out of 10 to say no. And that's just been my thought process forever. A lot of times I may have been more successful, but if I'm pursuing somebody and I make a comment or a gesture or flirt with them and they reject it, hey, her loss. But I'm never going to get upset or be rude. And like Hook said, we're not using profanity. We're not getting upset. It is what it is. And I promise you, most men will forget about that in minutes because they're going to see somebody else, especially if he's randomly making gestures at women on social media. Within minutes, there's going to be somebody else unless you crush his esteem. But most men, they're going to pursue or say something to somebody else. I have a question for the ladies, and this is something that we men often joke about. I have a question for ladies. Why is it when a man pursues you, flirts, anything, and you reject him, why do you have an issue with him approaching another woman? And
Who got a problem with that?
some women will, I was going to say a lot of women will say, I don't have a problem with that. But as soon as he approaches somebody else, oh, he was just in my face. He was just in my DM. He was just trying to talk to me, but you weren't interested. So what is he supposed to do? Lay down and die?
Oh, that's weird. Who is that?
Women.
That's what. Yeah, I can't speak for that.
You got
Because
some women on here for that question. You got to
Girl, yeah, you saw what Hook said?
for that. Like
Women,
we ain't hit.
I'm telling you, I've seen this so many times.
That was just
Girl,
on Love and Hip Hop the other night.
no, girl, he tried to talk to me. Girl, he was just trying to holler at me. Girl, he tries to talk to every woman he sees. Girl, he tries to holler at everybody. What's it to you if you're not interested in him? What he does is his business.
Right.
Yeah, you got the wrong women on here to answer that. You gonna have to find you some. Yeah, you got the wrong. I don't think none of us can relate.
right, because if I don't want you, I don't care where you go.
So y'all have
I'm not worried about where you go.
y'all have
Get out of
never,
here. Just leave.
so have y'all never ever said to a woman that, girl, he just tried to talk to me, or girl, he tries to talk to everybody?
No, I've never said
The
that.
only person I say that to is like my sister or my family. Like if you trying to holler at me, I'm gonna let my family know. Like I'm just gonna let you know he was trying to holler at me because that's a little weird to me. You get what I'm saying? If you know we family, you holler at me and then you go right behind me and holler at my sister. That's that. Come on now. Yes, I'm gonna tell her. But if we just out and about, if I don't know this woman, or even if this is just an associate of mine. Like I don't if me and you don't rock and I don't or I reject you, I don't have nothing to say to that woman. If she decides to deal with you, she decides to deal with you. That ain't got nothing to do with
I
me.
think I've only divulged that information if I was asked. Like, cause in my circle of friends, you know, all my friends like me. So like very tight circle. So we all kind of have the same sort of taste. So the overlap is likely to happen. You know what I'm saying? In my friend group.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely have those conversations for that reason, right? Because to respect the girl code and all of that kind of stuff. But so if it's asked, then I will say, oh yeah, he tried to holler at me before, but I don't care, girl. If that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? It won't be in a malicious way, like, you see what I'm saying? So yeah. Robin said, now some men have no standards and do try to holler at any and everything with two legs. That's true.
What makes one with two legs better than the other with two legs?
Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly, I don't agree. I don't know about having no standards. I don't know if that's a determination of whether or not a man has standards. Cause like Koshon said, it's on to the next one. If this one told you no, then a minute later you're gonna go try to find another one. So I don't think that means you have no standards. It's just that, hey, you gonna keep going for it. But I mean, we ain't got Coach. I'll answer another question because we ain't got no answer for that one. I don't know why
Right.
women would do that.
And I can definitely say I've had to reject a man knowing that he was trying to get with my sister, holler at my sister for however long. And only it seemed like only after you realized you wasn't gonna get that, then you came to try to holler at me, and that was the exact reason why I had to reject somebody. Like dudes be out here doing the most, they really do.
Did he know that she was your sister?
He knew exactly that she was my sister because there were so many times that we were always around each other because we run in the same circle. Like Stone Mountain, Georgia is, it's a, it's tight knit. Little do people really know. When you from Stone Mountain, people know you from Stone Mountain. You get what I'm saying? They know you. They know who you are. You know who everybody else is, type deal. So yes. And this person I know for a fact absolutely knew this was my sister. Absolutely knew, you know what I'm saying? How close we were, and you still tried it.
Yeah, see, I got a different type of friend group. We do the opposite. We'd be like, girl, you should really try to holler at him because yo, like, let me tell you, I give you permission. Like, go ahead. So I got a kind of different over here. So I ain't got that testimony.
The guys I want to ask the guys, have you all ever experienced that, or hook, worm? Do you have any
Has somebody ever
experiences?
tried to block y'all, like, from somebody?
Has a guy ever tried to block me?
No, a woman, like, tried to block you with someone else. Oh, girl,
No, or a man.
girl, he tried to talk to me in the 10th grade type stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it happens often. Yeah, go ahead, Worm.
So I just saying, yeah, man. Like, I mean, I remember a specific situation. We were in school,
In college, you went out, Worm.
but later on I found out that she was blocking, but she was trying to holler when I had a steady girlfriend. I'm like, hey, what kind of shit is that? I mean, stuff is that. So
He's going in and out. Hook, what were you saying?
Nah, I've had several times, man, like, like it can be somebody either that I tried to holler at or tried to holler at me, or it could just be somebody who we never had no dealings with, but they would always be like, well, girl, he tried to talk to everybody, he talked to this person, he tried to talk to this person, and yeah, he tried to talk to me before, but I turned him down. Like, I guess my thing is, if you turn me down, why are you so pressed now that somebody else is showing interest?
Right.
And with me, like the way that I am, like I've had cousins, friends, associates, whoever, they may come and ask me about a chick, and it's either somebody that, like, if I dealt with them like on an intimate level, then I'd let them know. But if it's just something where either we flirted for a little while, maybe went on a couple dates, maybe had a couple phone conversations, but if it never materialized, anything, like if nothing ever came from it, I tell them, I would keep it very general. I'm like, oh yeah, I know her, she's cool. Or, yeah, go ahead. You know what I mean? I wouldn't tell them any more than that, because whatever I say is probably going to be the determining factor about whether they end up dating or not. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm not about to sit here okay, if we didn't work out for whatever reason, if we never had like any major dealings, I mean, it's all fair game. I'm not going to feel bad about it. And if they start dating and they come around, like, I'm not, like, I don't feel obligated to tell anybody anything because it wasn't that serious.
Personally, I've had that happen to me at least 10 different times. I mean, at least. There was one case, this was, of course, years before I met my wife. I was dating a young lady and we really hit it off. We were making plans to move. She was living in Charlotte. I was in Charleston. So we were planning I was either going to move to Charlotte or she was moving to Charleston. Things were going great. And I went to church with her, and some folks saw us at church and just bombarded her with, oh, he did this, he used to that, he dated this girl. They went back like, ooh, years, college years, right out of high school years. And yeah, he messed with this person in 1999. They took it back, like, this was '07, '08. They took it back like years. And I was like, what the heck? Why do women do things like that? And in another instance, I met someone, my sister thought we would make a cute little couple or whatever. She wasn't interested. I was cool with that. We were friends. Several years later, I met someone. I had no idea that they even knew each other. I mean, several years later, about almost 20 years later. And this girl went off, like, just bad mouthing me and telling her, yeah, he tried to talk to me. That was 20 years ago. I was a kid. I'm not even the same person that I was at that time. And I was like, I could never wrap my brain around why some women do that. But apparently we have a good group of women here, because they say that's not what they do. But I've had that happen several times. Okay, Dee is telling us, she said, okay, for Deborah, Dee is saying that I definitely would have an issue with that, Deborah. But from his point of view, if you wouldn't talk to him, what's wrong with trying to talk to your sister on his part? And she said, when I was single, I went out with a dude who irked my last nerve on our first and only date. But I knew he would hit it off with one of my really good friends and hook them up. They got married. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're a real one, D.
Right. Everybody ain't for
Why you
everybody.
would do that? Right.
Yeah.
Just because you ain't for me don't mean you can't be for nobody else. And to answer your question, like, I mean, I know my sister, but to each his own. I can't say what nobody else in their life is ever gonna do. But for me, if I see you, like this dude literally like ran up behind my sister for like a couple of years, right? So this wasn't just oh, you tried to holler at her one time and she rejected you. And so you came over here. Even if it was one time, I still probably wouldn't even do it. But for me, it's the thing where when I see that you take interest in my sister, I don't, I like, you're no longer sexy to me. I don't have any interest there. That's just, I don't know. It's just something within me that won't allow me to go there. And I don't go there, and I don't apologize for not wanting to go there. But I'm not talking to, don't come try to holler at me after you done hollered at my sister, especially if you know we're sisters. I don't
This
keep it
is
in the
greater.
family. I don't play those games.
I work with a young lady, and she actually hooked me up with her sister. But and she was a very nice girl. We got along really well. And she said to me, we went on a date. She let me take her out, and she asked if I had a problem with her sister joining us, which was weird. So I invited one of my cousins, right? And when we went out, she said to me, she said, look, you're a very nice person. And I didn't feel like I needed to disclose this at work, but she said, I'm actually into women. And I felt that you would be a nice person for my sister. That's why I brought her along to introduce you to my sister. It was awkward as heck. It felt a little odd, but we actually hit it off and went out a few times and we're still friends, to the day. The relationship didn't work, but that was kind of weird.
But that makes sense because her preference is not even you.
Right,
So
right.
you get what I'm saying? That makes all the sense. But even if my preference, like even if her preference was you, if you're not my type, like I work with you every day, right? So I kind of get a gist of who you are to a certain extent. And maybe you're not somebody I'm interested in. Maybe I never even looked at you that way. So maybe I don't think about you that way. But yeah, I could definitely hook you up with my sister because maybe I know you're my sister's type in a lot of ways.
Right, 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 right.
Or my friend's type in a lot of ways. So what could it hurt? Like if my interest doesn't lie there, it's not gonna hurt you or her to, get to know each other.
That was just a weird situation, but that is what happened. But I get it, you know. So ladies, you said you all don't do that, so please don't do it. If a guy, and I'm saying this for the listeners as well, if a guy approaches you and you aren't interested in him, let it ride. You know, don't come with all that. He tried to talk to me in 10th grade type stuff.
Well, and I think that even when you're in that space of attempting to, how do they say, shoot your shot, at this point, for me, in my mind, unless, I mean, I would think that as a man, and maybe I'm wrong, would you not study her a little bit first, or do you just not, or you just go straight in for it? Because it would seem to study her for a little bit, you would be able to kind of know how to plan your approach. Is the approach planned, or is it like just a sneak attack?
When you're approaching a woman, it depends on like the
Right.
accessibility that you have. So as you know what I'm saying, if we're like at homecoming, man, I ain't seen this girl in years. I might not be around her again. I might not have this opportunity again. But hey, I'm gonna shoot my shot before the
Right, but at
whole.
homecoming, you would have already known her more than likely, at least
Well,
from school.
but you might have seen her face and not really been around. Like we know each other. Like okay, I know her from USC, but and
I still don't remember that, but
before the whole social media era, if you're out somewhere, hey, I'm going to speak because I might not have this opportunity to see you again. That's just me and my preference. I don't know how the other guys take advantage of those situations, but I'm not ever, like Hook said, I'm never going to say, oh, this girl looks like this or she's driving that. She's out of my league or I can't approach her. No, that won't happen because you don't know what a person's interests are. And I don't place the value on a person based off of those things. Like for me, it's all intrinsic. You can look exotic, have a $200,000 car, or be a millionaire, celebrity, that doesn't mean that you're out of a person's league or it doesn't define your character. So I would never ever say, oh no, I shouldn't approach her, because I mean, you'd be surprised of how people are outside of that persona. You know, I've dated a few people. I've dated doctors, lawyers, you know, different income brackets. I've dated some at Dollar General too, Wendy's, whatever. It comes down to the person. Somebody was saying Deborah said she was just a hater. Who are you referring to, Deborah?
The girl that you were saying, went back and was like, he tried to holler at me 20 years ago. Like,
Oh yeah.
misery loves company. Miserable people do miserable things. And I'm a firm believer in that. And that is a miserable person type of like behavior. 100%. You ain't happy, so you don't want to see nobody else be happy.
Mm.
Cause that's where I feel like petty things like that stem from within people. It's because otherwise there's no other reason to do it.
I
At least
wanted
not
to ask why, but the ladies here said they don't partake in that. So I wanted to know why.
yeah, I mean, I don't, for me, it's just no. It's just that I'm not doing that. It's because if I wasn't interested, then I just wasn't interested. It doesn't have to be broadcasted. I don't I don't have to tell. And then not only that, but from the man's standpoint, why do I have to broadcast that I wasn't interested in him? You get what I'm saying? Like, am I trying to make him look bad in some way or make myself seem better? Like, why do I need to throw him under the bus in that manner to tell you that he tried to holler at me?
Mm.
It don't it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to block him. I'm not trying to block you. So in that instance, it makes no sense to say anything at all. Keep it to yourself.
I agree. I agree.
It's a memory. You got a memory. You had it. It was a moment. You had a moment. If the moment didn't last for more than a minute or however, whatever, keep it pushing.
I want to bring something back. I want to revisit something. Jamie, you, Hook, and Terry, I want to know this. Do you all have some things that are exclusive to a wife? Is there anything that you can think of that you would say you absolutely will not do for someone that you were dating that you would only do for a wife?
Pay bills.
Bingo.
Terry, unique?
I'm with the guys, Cole. Pay bills. I look for a helpmate, man. I'll help you, but I can't just pay all your bills. That's just a wrap. I can't do that.
But for your wife, that's not an issue.
And for the wife, that's not an issue.
Yeah,
Ladies,
The,
the wife gets it all,
the
bro.
wife,
I
the
mean,
wife can get it all.
yeah, but if it's just somebody dating and don't really know where it's going, like, why am I going to put myself out there and invest all this in you and not even know exactly where it's going? Why? Because I'm a man? Nah, I need more than that.
Nah, 'cause somebody else could probably come behind you and they shelling out even more money. Now the broad not paying you any attention.
Facts. Yeah,
There you go.
get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it. But my thing again with that, Koshon, is like, what is she doing for herself? You meet her if she needs help. That's something you want to do. You can help her. But what is she doing for herself if you paying all her bills?
mm,
We're supposed to be helpmates, but most people looking for somebody to take care of.
I'm saving money for our future.
Get out of here.
so ladies,
But then hold on, Cole.
go
So
ahead.
then she holding on to all the money. So if somebody else comes with more money, or she feels like she doesn't want to deal with that dude anymore, now he's got less money and she runs off with all the money.
I said our future.
Yes,
That's
sir.
me and you. That's me and you. It's our future.
Yeah, but at the same time, what if something happens or you find out something about him you don't like? Now you're ready to go. So now he spent all his money. Now I'm not gonna say all of his money, but he spent all his money on you, helping you pay your bills or paying your bills, and then you're just out.
I'll give you a third.
Girl, stop. Nah.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
unique.
right.
Nah, for
Cole,
real.
you know
Unique
better
for
than
real. I'm just.
so right to laugh at it.
I'll give you a third. I'm serious. I'll give you a third before I leave.
No, I was just, I was joking. I agree with the helpmate part. I really do agree with with having an actual partner,
Right.
and I really
That's
agree with. finding the value in a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might spend some money, but it's not really about you spending money. It's just like, I gotta remember to put oil in my own car. I gotta remember to
Oh,
get my
no, no,
brakes
no.
done. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So like just even like little small things like consideration type things, which are the same things I would totally do for a guy. Those things in my opinion go, a long way. If I never met you, I still gotta have lights, you know?
Right? And
Right.
if he want to come over and hang, and if he want to come over and Netflix and chill with you, yeah, you got to have lights too.
Right.
So of
Right.
course, he would want to help you with that. But for a woman to say that's a demand, that no,
Right.
We
I
don't even
agree with
need
that
lights.
part
draw the
too.
line.
Yeah. And I don't think that anything should be a demand. Like what are we, toddlers out here? Like nothing should be a demand. It's just, I may have some things that I like, or, some standards that I have, but that's just for me. Either you like them or you don't. It's not a demand.
I
Oh,
want
I
to
got
read this for
demands.
our listeners right quick.
I
Excuse
got
me.
I got demands.
Yeah,
So
somebody
I
just
got
posted that.
Just one
Read that.
second. I just want to read this for our listeners that cannot see it. D said, so what's with the dudes that are out here throwing money at women and offering to pay their bills? They
Oh,
need to
it's
be
definitely some out there.
they need to be stoned.
No, they
Exactly.
don't.
Yes, they do.
All it,
So
It's,
they creating a problem.
they
They
creating a
creating a
problem.
problem.
I spoke to my dad about this a couple of weeks ago, and this is why pimps hated drug dealers. They hate them because they messed the entire game up. Just out there throwing money like women. I mean, yeah, they just changed the game. They made it bad, all the way bad. Because what happened to getting to know someone and, before all this stuff came about, just think back to that teenage love phase. You know, what, what were some determining factors for that person that you like, where this dude could ride a bicycle to your house, where you stayed at your cool auntie's house so you could meet him and y'all sat outside and talked. Whatever happened to that?
I ain't never had that.
So you
Those
never
were
had the
great
guy that you
moments.
just liked?
No, I ain't never had that because, and I don't know, because like when I was in high school, the people that I dated were in the military, so they had money. Like it wasn't
Hold on
like
now.
what?
Back this thing up. Hey, your dad knows this?
What?
You said the people you
Yeah,
dated were in the military when you were in high school.
yeah, they were when I was in high school.
We,
Mhm.
we,
So I mean, not old men,
we don't
like
have to
you
talk
can go
about
into
that.
high.
We don't have to
No,
talk
no, no.
about that.
You can go in the military at 17, 18 years old. So when I was 16, 17, the dudes that I was dating were like 18, 19, 20, but they were already Marines. They was already, so they didn't have nothing else to do with their money. Like they lived on base in the barracks and
Can,
they had
man,
cars.
can,
So they came and picked me up from
mm-mm,
school and I got my hair done and I got my nails done and I got to the outlet and got my DKNY and my whatever. Like,
mm-mm,
so I ain't never
Mm.
had
mm-mm,
that.
So that's why you ain't
mm-mm,
never had that experience,
mm-mm,
girl.
mm-mm,
That's weird.
mm-mm,
I,
mm-mm.
listen, when
Mm-mm.
Tamar Braxton said, I don't know if you like me unless you give me some money. Like I felt her on that because I don't know what that, I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know. I haven't
So,
been in,
so
sorry.
hold on. So you started out young when men just kind of throwing money at you, right?
No, it wasn't
Because they
throwing
wanted to,
money. It wasn't, I didn't look at
huh?
it as throwing money. There was a
That's
transaction.
exactly what it was.
No, it wasn't because they was getting
No.
something out the deal too.
Oh, so they were
My
paying for
money.
it.
No, no, no,
So they
nope.
was
Cause I was,
paying
nope,
for it.
nope. Cause I was a whole virgin. So wasn't
So
that.
like, so
It was,
oh, so what was
they
they
got
getting?
me, me.
Get
They
out of
got to,
here. Get out
shit,
of here. Listen,
they got
those, Tavonna, those men were young and they figured that's what you wanted and they wanted to do whatever they had to do to keep you beside them, whether you were putting out or not putting out. All right. But that right there again is
hit
that's
you
got the
up.
whole game messed up.
Okay,
Huh?
well, I'm
And
telling
and
you,
and, and
first of
listen,
all,
and listen, Koshon has told you guys, like I joined the military early. I was in high school when I joined.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know what kind of money those guys are getting or were getting at the time, Tavonna, because we about the same age. It's not a lot of money.
But it was enough money at the, okay, you're staying in the barracks, right? You come out of
It's not a
basic
lot of
training.
money.
No. It's
Tavonna,
not,
I'm telling you, don't tell me
what
what you
I'm
think. I'm telling you, I was
I'm
there.
telling you,
It's
and what
not a
I'm
lot of
saying,
money.
it don't have to be a lot of money, but it was enough money that it wasn't like, well, I ain't gonna say it wasn't stressing them out. I don't know what other bills and stuff they had. I ain't care because that wasn't my problem. But it was
And,
just
right.
like,
But they
hey,
ride,
we
they
got one
riding around in
car to
cars.
school, and I
Right.
can go to the outlet and I can shop and I can go get my hair done and I can go get my nails done and we go out to eat and that's it. Like I don't. What am I supposed to do? What am I doing? Okay,
And then take you home, right? So they
take me
drop all
home.
that money on it and they just took you home.
Took me
Well, I'm
home.
telling you, they had cars, they had car insurance, whatever other women they was dealing with. So they was kicking a little money to you here, kicking a little money over there on the side. But I guarantee you, from experience, them fellas was broke, waiting for the next pay period.
And that's fine. I don't. But what does that have to do with me? I'm only telling you about my. I don't care what they were doing. I'm talking, Coach. I'm talking about what
That
happened
see
to the
that,
boy that rode up
but
on
that's
the
my
bike.
point.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about
But
no bike.
all right,
Where we
but
going?
that also that goes back to the same point that I was talking about. What happened to being a helpmate? What are you doing for you? Why do I have to put all that money up for you when they in the barracks? They can't go in the street and feed themselves. They got to go to the mess hall on the base.
They was out eating because we was together, so I know they was eating.
Uh, No, you was eating together because he had money and he spent it on you. But when he left
Correct.
you and went back to the base, he's broke. He's in the mess
But
hall.
what does that have to do with me? If that's the way you chose to spend your money, how is that on me? That is not on me.
But see, but that's
Even
but
but
that's
guess
the
what? But
that's the mentality right there that
but
women have.
the
That
same thing applies
what?
now though. I am 44. And if you choose
Uh huh.
to do something for me, that is not my business. Like I don't care about it. If that's what you
No,
want to
that's
do,
what they want to do. That's
so
what they
I
want
don't
to do.
feel
Right.
bad you ain't got no money. If you came over here and you
Right.
want to try to drop a bag if thinking that's going to impress me, I'ma take the bag, okay? Now, whether that bag cost you your mortgage or your rent, that ain't got nothing to do with it. You got to figure that out.
Worm
I
has
ain't asked
something
you
to
for it.
say. Go ahead, Worm.
No, I'm listening, bro.
Okay, I saw your microphone
He
coming
said,
on.
what did they receive in return? Well, like I said, this is when I was in high school. So I was a whole virgin until the summer before I left to go to college. So the answer to your question, D, is nothing. So they got to go out. They got to be with me. We went to football games. We did whatever. It was,
They they was spending money because they was hoping they was going to get it from you.
in the hopes of it. Oh, I definitely agree with that. And that's when I learned the game. Like I learned that the expectation or the thought of this is what you're going to get weighed heavier than him actually getting it. Because my friends that was out here actually giving it, having abortions and babies, wasn't getting hardly nothing. But the thought that they thought that I guess they felt like this was an investment on what was to come. Oh, okay. Sounds good to me. Cause I knew that there was
So
no intention that that's what was going to happen.
right. So
Did
women
I
that have that
reciprocate the
intention
gifts?
and
Girl, no. Mm-mm.
so no, she wasn't looking for a relationship. She was getting what she was getting.
And
But
plus,
yeah,
I got to.
the
I'm from
women,
Beaufort, so let me say that I'm from Beaufort, South Carolina, and Hood
small
from the Low
town Marine
Country.
Corps.
He
Yep.
know. There you
Yep.
go. He know the culture down there. So
Mm-hmm.
I was a military brat. I wasn't one of the local girls, so that made me a little different, right? Because the local girls in Beaufort, this is what they were looking for. Like they were trying to find and hook
Trying to
a
get them
Marine
a Marine.
so that
Right.
they could build their quality of life. I didn't need them for
Right.
that because my daddy was already a Marine, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when they got me, I was like sort of the prize, right? You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, like that's her. Like I could, and the other dudes on base was like, damn, how you get her? You see what I'm saying? It was that. So I don't know if it was that for them. You know what I'm saying? That it was just like, yo, I got her. And it was
Now it
the
becomes
thought
a
of, look at what
competition.
I got.
Hold on
Correct.
one second, you all. I'm so sorry. This 2 hour time slot goes by so fast. We're down to our final 60 seconds. I want you all to give some final thoughts and thank you all, our new guest, Worm, Yolanda, Hook. Thank you for coming back. Sage, Deborah, TT, always a pleasure. So please, your final thoughts. And I want you all to like and share the show. And we do this every Friday. This is our Drive at 5 show. Every Friday, we're here and I will edit and upload so that we can come back and listen to today's episode. And please join us. So you all say your closing words. We got final 20 seconds.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank y'all for coming and thank y'all for riding the ride with us today. Y'all come back.
See y'all next week.
I'll be back. Thank